though. It's very rainy outside. I don't know if chat can hear it, but it's.
I want it.
It's an experience. Yeah. So you burn the bodies, all the bodies, both sides.
Yeah. Now probably
actually,
taking wood from the house
Barut,
to make the fire.
Barut, give me a religion check.
Okay.
Like disrespect these Goliath bodies.
Halflings prefer to be buried.
Then we would bury.
Literally, their god of death is their god of earth as well, and
so then
we them have bare ground.
Then we would
bury their bodies.
Yeah, it's literally one of those things where like Barut would think about it, know it, bury him.
Yeah.
You spend the night burying. You actually rest.
Yeah.
You wake up.
I would mark the graves with, once again, the date and also underneath avenged.
Yeah. And if we pass by the other one that we do, we can make a note that we avenged that guy as well.
Yeah.
Sure. You rest a little longer into the day than usual because you had to stay up.
Hatch our plan.
Exactly. So, are you happy to just keep on traveling?
At this point, I don't know what else we'd do. Maybe we should go visit Giant Grandma.
You are a little bit off the way now. You would be taking more time to go do that by around 2 days.
I mean,
because it takes about a day to get to that town. Even
how many extra days Aelenor's going to take?
She might already be there.
Oh, okay.
She's
probably
She's like, these guys, where are they at?
We have excuses. Let's go.
I think wherever Tobias leads us, we're going. We trust him implicitly.
Actually, we would. Yeah.
Like Bruitt's probably just like, you know this entire place. I am trusting you as my guide for the entirety of the North. You've been all over the North as far as I'm concerned, because I haven't asked you otherwise yet.
And Virk's now carrying a warhammer and war pick because he wants to sell them. And they're heavy for him, so he's like, yeah, I'll go wherever.
Actually, look at that.
Well, the good news is you can stop by the Planovar village on the way. It's totally on the way.
Oh, yeah? Oh, that's good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be nice.
Right?
So, you go totally on the way, not off the beaten path, to go into Jotunskóga, the giant forest of the giants, traveling through it for essentially a day to the village that would be pretty well hidden if you didn't know exactly where it was. And you're welcomed back with open arms. The forest giants are very happy to see you and ask what happened to you. And yes, when you see Grandma, you are given a nice, fresh soup. And you're thinking about it, Brute was probably hanging on to those pumpkins. Gives them to Grandma. Yes. Pumpkin soup, a Grandma classic.
Also, Varric is now one of those tourists who's got the book going, trying to like line up words with everything.
The thing is that this book is so inaccurate to them that you are getting nothing, and they are not able to have any conversations. And literally, like at one point, you like offer, like you showed a book to one of them, and it's like, and you're like, no, need that. Like, they do not understand, and the words do not translate most of the time because it's just a different dialect completely.
I would look over at Brute, ask if they want to buy these. I can't do it. I have no luck.
Oh, in Giant, I'll ask if they're interested.
They have
in
no interest in buying weapons.
Which I could have told you.
Yeah.
But, that's okay.
I gave up, and I enjoy the soup.
Yeah, exactly. You have your soup. You have it's nice considering you've been traveling for over a week at this point, to have that day of, like
just to reset,
just
really.
to relax and reset, and you're going to, you don't know what is going to happen in Lendir, but you're going to have to cross the ice flats, so it's the whole thing, and you're glad
while
for
we're
that.
here, I would ask around, like, have any of these guys ever been out that way? Probably not.
When you ask around, Some of them will say like, well, we've been that way, but it's too dangerous for us. These are sacred forests that keep us safe. So, nah, not really.
Of course. Unfortunately, we have to go that way, but we'll try to be careful.
Yeah.
Now that Varric has minor illusion, if he sees any of the kids around, instead of messing with them with the dancing lights, he's gonna mess with them with a tiny Varric, like a little tiny Varric.
Doing the dance that Spider-Man gif does.
Yes.
That is exactly where my brain went, and it's perfect.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. Okay. Canon. Yeah, no, that's entirely fine. You can have your nice, pleasant time in the plan of our village, and then reluctantly, after a nice, safe sleep, even though you're not in beds or anything, you know it's perfectly safe to sleep there. Just fucking like laying on soft moss, and then you head out again, and it is another 2 days to get to Lendir through the forest. But instead of going around, you actually go through the forest, and you have a ranger who lives in forests. So you have a great time going through the forest, you know, because of the season. Plenty of berries to pick up and roots and things, and you eat pretty well on the way. Maybe even trying to teach them a little bit of what is and isn't edible in the forests, because, you know, Barrett's been doing all this teaching all the time. Maybe Tobias wants to make fun of him subtly by doing
I feel like it's more like, oh yeah, we'll gather herbs on the way, and then someone goes to eat something. Like, not that one, but that one.
Okay, in the bag instead,
I
then.
said 4 leaves and green spots, not green leaves and 4 spots. Come on. Are you trying to get yourself killed?
What does this one do?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, well, in the bag it goes then, so we can bring it back to Firefly. Fireflies will give us that information, I'm sure.
Well, that's how you find out. And I'm like, here, just take a nibble, and then we'll find out what it does.
Not without Eleanor here.
Just in case of remove poison.
That's fair.
For 2 days of skulking through the forest, where I don't even really need to say skulking, you move at a fairly okay pace. Aside from that, you're not in much of a rush. You actually make it to Lendir backwards. This town has a little bit of a logging area that usually people don't enter via. So you literally enter this Northman town via its little forestry area, which actually, to be fair, is very respectful. These are Northmen. They understand how to treat nature, so they're very careful about the way they chop down trees and things. Lendir is a fairly big Northman town, sort of similar to Slate Cove, but a little more built up. It actually has a pretty solid wooden wall that you circumnavigated because you went in through the forest. It goes up the forest line. And it has, you know, a bunch of stone buildings, wooden buildings. At the time of you get there, you know, all the, you know, buildings have smoke coming from them from the cooking. And you actually get there from the highest area in the town, nearly highest area. There's a little bit that's built up on more of a hill. Clearly you know, usually the richest people live the highest. But you can see beyond the wall is kind of a slums. Slums of, some of them are properly built up buildings, wood or stone. Most of them are just tents, and that's clearly Red Town that you were referred to. You're too far away to really see the details, but it's just very clear, you know, the town, the wall, the slums. But you're here, and it's literally one of those things, you like come out of the forest and there's a freaking Northman just like hacking away at some firewood and just like, where did you come from? What are you doing in there? You're not meant to be in there.
Oh, we're from Slate Cove. We just took a little detour through the forest.
You went through the forest? It's deadly in there. There's monsters and beasties and creatures that would take you, and the giants.
Friends of ours.
All right. Take it easy on the mead next time. Waves you away. I will allow both of you, not Varric, to give me a history check about this town. Varric just would not know anything.
Yep. I just love that I'm learning this world like he is learning this world.
It's very fun to do that.
Yeah.
So Lendir is built around a river, which actually you followed some of the way, because Tobias knew that, right? Built around a river, as most big settlements are. Big settlements for Northmen formed together either due to need or due to clans working together around a useful area. Slate Cove is built together because there's several useful things, and the clans sort of dealt with them, like, they put aside their differences, mostly, and worked together. And this is a similar thing. The clan that sort of made Lendir and has that started the place is the clan Grogger, who are the best weaponsmiths in the north. No matter what the dwarves say, no matter what the elves say, they're the best! And so it actually has a little bit of a metal refining industry that is mostly very small in these areas. Slate Cove has, like, no blacksmiths. This has a little bit of that going on. And you already know there's a bit of a criminal enterprise going on. Because, actually it's run by gnomes. In the north, and this is where, Barut knows less, and it's more stories told by Tobias. It's the form of like almost like a fairy tale. The gnomes had outposts in the north. They always have had outposts. When the outpost nearest here fell, called Charlieman's Way, the gnomes kind of just scattered about the north, and they have useful knowledge to teach. So this, in some Northland communities, especially in this area, you can find gnomes. They don't go full tinkery. They are rock gnomes. Most gnomes you meet are rock gnomes. But they do have a little bit, helping the weaponsmiths, building very fine things, making plans. And it seems that the gnomes kind of run this town, from what you've heard anyway, Tobias. There's a gnome in charge that goes by the name of Smoke, who kind of owns the place. Yeah. That's pretty much most of it. And what I told you last time, but Will wasn't here, even though he watched it back, the slums is mostly tieflings and hobgoblins. It used to mostly be tieflings, because when they got out this way, they were not really considered people. And sometimes tieflings leave Bastillion, and this is the first place to go, and if they don't have the resources to go anywhere else, this is kind of where they stay. Hobgoblins are here mostly because they were one of the big... there was a war to the region of the north called Ophenther, which Eleanor's from. Mostly humans versus hobgoblins. Both are dispossessed, a lot of them are here. Hobgoblins were the bad guys, so they are, not even citizens. They have no rights. There you go. There's your lore dump for this evening.
All right.
Okay.
You are here
Where's
to meet
the nearest
a woman.
tavern?
You're here to meet a woman named Cherubin.
Cherubin. Would she be at the nearest tavern by any chance?
Where else are you going to meet someone, right?
That's the first place we'll look.
Right. You go through the town looking for a tavern. You actually find one quite quickly. We find an inn called the Busted Mare. The reason why you find this one in particular, because you're looking around, because you hear sounds of a scuffle inside. You hear sounds of, chairs and things being knocked over. And being the good guys that you are, immediately charge in.
Ooh, this place sounds fun.
Yeah, sounds like a good time. But just in case, just grab the shield off. Not the sword, though. Not yet.
What you do when you charge in, you see a very interesting scene. You see a lot of kobolds. A lot of kobolds surrounding a tiefling woman.
Huh. You aren't Cherubin by any chance, are you?
She's screaming. She's screaming and shrieking.
Take that as a yes.
I'm gonna need you guys to give me little initiatives.
Let me know when.
You're good.
Thank you.
Don't doubt me again. What do we want to listen to?
I would know what kobolds are, right?
I will explain that when it's like their turn.
Okay.
But yes.
I mean, no, as in like my character would
Yeah,
know,
no,
right?
I know. Yeah, the answer is yes. I was just gonna like.
Yes, good, because I know what kobolds are, but just making sure.
Oh, kobolds. They're so
I'm worried that Varric's gonna murder someone and be like, "Oh, that was a person."
Kobolds are not people. No. Don't even like
Well,
pretend. No.
I mean, there is always the consideration of whether or not they have sentient choice, and whether that qualifies them as a peoples, and therefore should we eat them?
The kobolds that you see, kobolds are tiny little draconic creatures. They're usually around 2 feet tall. They're small and scrabbly and fast, and they're vermin. They are literally every culture on the planet of Jarviskjir consider them vermin. Some cultures consider them useful vermin because they are intelligent enough to do jobs when told to do so. For example, knowledge none of you would know, in Northenden, they hire kobolds to do the sewer work because no one else wants to do it. They'll do it. You can just feed them and they'll do it. But they're literally vermin. Every culture thinks they're vermin to one degree or another. And that's what you get for free. Very, very clearly attacking her. I didn't give her an initiative. She got a really good initiative. But first up is Virik.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 jumping up on the table. And
I will also point out there is no one else in the tavern. Sometimes I leave out civilians. There is no one else in here. It is empty.
Okay. And then I will chakra on this guy.
Sure. That's a hit. I mean, it's a kobold. But that kobold is wearing more armor than the others.
One of them doesn't come back.
Yep.
So where does that end up for my sake?
It'll be behind you in the bar. You literally go up and just both the chakrams go cut this kobold's head off. It's spray of blood.
All right, we're killing these guys. Okay.
Tobias.
Yep.
Well, since that ship has sailed, I was like, are we killing them? Are we gonna try to knock them out? Both myself and Tobias thinking this, and just watch you go up and just decapitate this guy. I'm like, all right. Question asked. Question.
I mean,
answered.
she was screaming.
She is screaming.
I mean, they're just.
Pardon me. Horrible me to just not even think that she was still screaming.
She's still screaming.
Yeah.
I'm going to cast Zephyr Strike on myself.
For kobolds?
Yeah.
These poor little
They both
kobolds.
be right away and just dart across the room.
Oh my god!
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's a me
he
move.
hasn't acted yet, so I have advantage. And attack him with a short sword.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those things you charge up with the weapon and stab it, and the body just launches because of the force of Zephyr Strike, just across the room, just into a bloody paste on the wall.
Perfect. And then I will use my last 5 feet of movement to take a step forward.
Awesome. She is screaming. She's kind of got a stool in her hands and she's kind of waving it around her to keep the kobolds away. But she's really doing nothing of note. She's hiring people to escort her for a reason.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to cast a spelly spell, and I'm going to be targeting this gentleman right here.
Oh, you doing is that a guiding bolt? That's
It is a guiding bolt.
That's a little bit of a little bit of a
Splat? That's a splat.
Oh, that
Oh,
is literally, there's a beam of light and then there's no kobolds. This kobold was, not many of them wear clothing, they wear a little bit. This guy had shoes, there's just shoes. Just shoes. Nothing else.
I kind of feel bad now.
I do not feel bad. These
Lyric
are
wouldn't
kobolds.
feel bad. Yeah.
And now it's the
I
kobold's
feel
turn.
bad.
And they get a chance to fight back. Fight they will.
What's the roll 20s and just destroy us?
Won't be feeling bad then,
Barut
will
is
we?
historically bad against small creatures.
It's
One just
true.
runs up behind you and just starts like scrabbling up your arm and just trying to climb up you. It's like, ah, bad man. This one's gonna try as well,
Oh no.
and is gonna hit
Yeah, because I'm too focused on the one trying to climb up my back.
and claws you for 6 damage.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
one of those ones
these
he
guys
like
could
claws
roll
up and
20s.
just
Right.
Yeah.
beating
That'd be
you.
humiliating. We beat like 3 Goliaths and like a mega Goliath, and we died of kobolds.
Look, anything can happen. I almost died to bees on the first episode.
Giant wasps.
Bees. I almost died to bees. Not the bees. Anything but the bees.
And this
Oh,
one
wow.
jumps up behind you to like you see one rushing up to you and you sort of turn, coated in wisps of winds, and one jumps on your back and just starts pulling at your hair. Like, who does that? Ends up doing like 6 damage to you, clawing and scrape. You are dead. You take 6 damage.
He came back like there was nothing, and then it comes back to
Yeah,
you
he
are
knew.
dead.
He knew. He knew. He knew what he was doing.
I knew what I was doing. You take 6 damage, Tobias, as this thing jumps up behind you and just starts clawing you. There's one special boy left.
Special boy.
I was debating
Oh.
shooting.
He's looking left rather than right, guys. He's special.
He's different. Look, it's hard to tell which one's different.
He has wings, doesn't he?
That's just the token. Tokens
Okay.
do not represent what is actually happening. This
No,
guy
I know.
has a bunch of bags, a bunch of sacks.
Bang.
He pulls out a smaller bag from his bag. Bert, you were literally thinking about, I got attacked by a wasp before. It's funny that you were thinking about it. A bit weird. When he pulls out the bag, it's buzzing and shaking. And he throws the bag of wasps.
Oh, this is great.
Not the bees. Anything but the bees.
What?
Oh, this is actually great.
You are engulfed by a swarm. Actually,
Oh
let me
my
check how big
God,
the
that's a lot of
swarm-
bees.
It might not be large size. I don't know the stats for swarm of bees off the top of my head. Sorry, guys. I'm a bad DM. It is medium sized, but it literally, like, he throws the bag at you and just a full heart of bees comes all over you.
Nightmare. 2 small creatures and bees.
Yes. Yeah. This is it. This is where I die. This is what happens right here.
Now, the bees get initiative real quick.
No, don't make that noise.
And then and then the kobold is going to skid around because he's the kobold. He's gonna run around on all 4s. Then there's the bees.
Oh wow, yeah, the bees are top of the order.
Yeah. They are going to sting you. The root. And they are gonna sting you. Because they get 1 over your armor
my
class of
God.
your shield. But then, how do you shield against bees?
You don't. That's the problem.
It's one of the things where you're wearing scale mail. There are spaces between the scales. The wasps get in, and they just start stinging. Because to the wasps, you just attacked their hive. Because they were thrown at you. They just attacked the first thing they sense, essentially.
Yeah.
And I am going to have to find a new dice.
That's never good.
Bye. Hi, you hired us to like escort you. He died.
That is going to be 7 piercing damage of the bee stings. Wasp stings.
That's a lot of damage.
I'm gonna die to bees, guys. That's how it's gonna go.
Wasps.
Bees.
I'm
Stingy
gonna do-
yellow insects.
2, 3, 4.
I'm so
5, 6.
glad that you... Because I'm not even
brought up-
bullshitting. I'm so glad you brought up the wasps. Because literally, it used wasps. Just
Okay,
per
so
luck.
I went up here, picked up the chakram for my item interaction, and then I'm gonna spend a key point to do Step of the Wind.
Ooh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I'm going to chakram. I'm going to do these one at a time because they're the little guys. I'm going to chakram this dude.
Yep.
Okay.
Ooh, is that a hit?
Is that a
might be
hit?
Let me give me a second here, son. Give me a second. I was on the page for bees. I was not ready for that. I don't know where K is in the alphabet.
After
getting
J.
it.
Before
After J, yep, that is a hit. Never mind, I looked up for no reason.
Yeah. And then,
He's potato paste. He's gone.
okay, then I go to catch that one. I do. Then I'm gonna chakram the other one. Oh, that one's not
That's
a
a
hit.
miss.
Then do I catch that one though? That's the question. Yes,
Yes.
I catch that one.
Awesome. Next up is Tobias.
I should think I have some movement. Just a second. So 1, 2.
Oh, because you
3.
used bonus action movement, yeah.
Oh no, I'm good. That's as far as I'm gonna move.
Coolio.
I am going to start by attacking the boy above me. With
That's a hit.
17.
Because he was on the table, like, actually eye to you because they're so short. You can just easily like turn and just cut his belly completely open. And it's just like.
I actually want to skewer him and then just like fling him into the wall.
Yeah, you know what? You're collecting him at the
Intimidation.
wall. Why not, right?
Oh,
Yeah, we're making a line of them on the wall.
yeah, that's the goal.
And that's a miss.
Okay, I am gonna move though. I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It makes an
And
attack of
not
opportunity
take
against
an
you,
attack of
which it
opportunity.
hits.
But he doesn't get one because I have Zephyr Strike.
It's a fair point.
Not even a nice, refreshing diet Fanta can cure the sadness that's washed over me now.
Sponsored by Diet Fanta. Alright, so that is my turn.
And I'm guessing she's just screaming still.
Now she's not screaming. Now she's kind of like shrunk back and is watching everything.
Okay.
She's gonna back up a bit. Barut, you're coated in wasps.
Yeah. If I can find a part of me that isn't coated in wasps, I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds on myself.
It's hard to do. Every square
Yeah,
inch of your body
it's
is
real hard to
occupied
do.
by a wasp.
Wow.
But anyways, that's what I'm doing. And then I'm gonna move. I'm gonna move down here. I'm assuming the wasps are just on me, so they're coming with me.
No,
or-
technically not.
So they get an attack of opportunity on me?
Attack of opportunity.
Is that how that works? Well, then I'm not actually going to move that far. I will be here, which I assume that means the kobold would get an attack of opportunity. I don't know. Someone will hit me, probably. But
Yes, the kobold will make a swing at you.
Yeah.
Which will not hit.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Actually, it actually hit 17. So you know what? Let's take. Well, it's actually the one below,
Yeah.
which is 16 because I had no numbers. Okay. Next up, it's kobolds.
Kobold boys.
The one is just starts chasing. She's like, "Don't run from me! I am the destroyer!" And it charges and it jumps, and you jump out the way, and it just clonks its head onto one of the chairs nearby, and is out
Cool.
cold.
I'm really
Oh,
happy
wow.
that happened.
It was a very. You could feel that noise.
Yeah, like a good
Oh.
dunk. A good dunk.
Uh,
Good.
Very. Your AC
What?
is 16. Yes.
What? My AC is 13.
Oh, you are. Didn't even have to go through hopes to hit you.
Yeah,
he
he
actually
can hit me.
scratches you for 6 damage.
Okay. Okay.
And there's the other one. Rustles around in his bag of tricks. Pulls out Scorpion on the end of a long pole. He's gonna very carefully.
I like
And
this guy.
Tobias. He's gonna go at him.
Wow.
And
Just
it's one of those things you didn't even see he was there, but he was going. I'm gonna get you. You just turn, and you just kind of like, as the scorpion on a sticker comes, you just like, get out of it, get out of my face, stop it. And he looks so distraught that you ruined his plan.
I like this guy, except that he threw bees at me, so he needs to die.
Kobolds are
Is
great.
it a live scorpion tied to his stick?
Yeah, it's
So
wiggling.
It's just like stinging and wiggling.
It's funny is when you push it out of the way, the stick breaks, and the scorpion just skitters away on the ground.
Yeah.
But wait, there's bees.
Yeah.
They
And
roll
they're back.
real well too. It's like they know that he's the guy we gotta get. And hits you for a nice, clean. Checking if there's any
Oh, no.
modifiers.
Oh no. Are you going down to beast?
Possibly.
He's gonna go down to bees.
If there's a modifier, almost certainly.
Yeah, I don't think there is one, but I want to check. Nope, it is a nice, clean 12 piercing damage.
Then I am down and
Oh
not
my
stable. I am at
God.
-1. That was one enough to make me not stable.
It's literally, you're like, I can take it, I can take it. And there's one last wasp.
Just stings me like right on the
Sting
tip
you right
of
on
the
the
nose.
nose.
And that was it. That was it. Pass out from the pain.
Gone.
The nose is so sensitive.
Virik, you just watched
Okay.
Barut go down coated in bees.
I'm actually gonna use Step of the Wind again. For intimidation's sake, I want to do an entire lap around this guy before backing up this way with the speed, and then I'm gonna chuck a chakram at him.
I mean, he gets that opportunity for first.
No, not with Step of the Wind.
It doesn't say that you get that. It
Uh,
just says your distance is doubled.
It's true.
Where was
Tobias
the
is
thing?
one stops attacks of opportunity. Yours
I can
doesn't.
swear there was part of the. Okay, well, okay.
If it ain't in the tooltip,
Yep.
it
In that
ain't
case,
gonna
I
see the
won't-
tip of
I can
my
make that
penis.
movement normally, so I'm just going to use it normally.
Yeah.
I swear I had a disengage with the.
You can
the-
disengage with this instead, but you can't dash and disengage with one usage.
Oh, I didn't need to dash. I was just disengaging because that was all
Yeah.
still my movement.
Yeah, then that's fine.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing, and then I'm going to chakra him.
The wording is important.
Yes, sorry.
That's a hit.
I think 13 hits him. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
sweet.
it's kobold. It is an ex-kobold.
Yes. Okay, and then I see the swarm of.
Can't sell that in a pet shop.
Nope. So I'm gonna come here and try
Also,
and.
swarm of bees in a pet shop.
No, they do not. They do not.
I'm gonna drop my chakra and pull out my sword and try and.
Yep, feel free.
Okay.
I hate bees.
Actually, no, I can't.
so
I have to
much.
just punch. I have to just punch because I used the chakra.
No, you can't. Yeah, well, yeah. You're right.
Yeah. Oh, it's. Of course, I'd roll a 1. That's
I'm
why
not
I didn't
gonna be
use the
mean.
chakram. That's why I didn't use the chakram because I knew I'd roll a 1 and then the chakram would hit him.
But the bees do sting your hand
Okay, that's fine.
because you tried to punch bees.
Yep. I tried to.
For 3 damage.
Yeah, we're making great. We're slaughtering the kobolds and then trying to punch bees.
Tobias.
I mean, I am sorry, but it's this can't be.
He's up.
Okay.
He takes that hit like a champ.
Oh, easy though.
That's also a hit, yeah. No, now he's dead.
Give him the old 1-2.
The old one, too.
Then I just look over at this scene happening over here, and then look over at this woman, and I just like, just gonna step over here and be like,
Hey.
it's okay, you're safe now. And that's my turn.
It's like, yes,
Block
yes,
her view from.
absolutely. You're the Grey Fists, right? You're here to help.
Oh yeah, we're the greatest
just-
heroes the land has ever seen.
Just hear me in the background.
Brute, give me a death save.
Yeah.
Please
Yep.
don't die.
Oh my
You shouldn't have fucking said anything, should you?
Bees.
Please tell me I aggroed the bees.
Oh, you aggro the bees. You punched bees. What do you think they're gonna do?
Good. Good.
And they hit you.
Okay. But how much? Am I going down to?
I dropped one of the dice. For
has
11
health
piercing
potions?
damage, and
I don't. Do you?
Nope.
at that point, it deals 11 piercing damage to you, and the bees start to disperse. They start to sort of. You probably do swing at them for a bit, but they sort of make their way out the windows of this building and through the cracks and things.
I'm going to attempt a medicine check to stabilize. Because I don't have anything.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
If this is how I go, this is how it was meant to be.
No, that's stable. You stabilize.
Fuck. Thank
It's one of those things where you're coming to terms with it. You're coming to terms with it, Barut.
Yeah.
And then you see Virik's sweaty face above you, pumping on your chest.
Well, mask.
You can tell he's sweaty under the mask.
The mask is slipping a little bit.
Yeah.
What's that? Only one of the eyes is aligned?
And you come back.
Oh. So, what suck?
In all shapes and sizes.
I hate wasps because, like, I didn't know what wasps were till we saw that giant one, and I thought little ones, they can't be so bad. No, they suck.
Little ones are worse. They get under your armor.
Barut
I tried to punch them, they stung me.
Barut is spotty right now. He has spots.
Yeah. Am I awake at this stage?
Barely, but yes,
Barely.
enough.
So I could cast a spell
Mhm.
at this point in time, because I
Oh,
will
no,
definitely.
it's not combat.
I will definitely be doing that. Kill myself for 8.
At this point, there's a little bit of a bravo, well done, very, very well done.
Why are people always clapping after I am unconscious from wasps? Why? Why does this always happen? I'm gonna get up and just pull up one of the stools and sit down and be like, I'm assuming there's tables.
Oh yeah,
You're near enough to me.
It's the empty sort of eating room of a small tavern. I mean, probably more of an inn, but it's the empty sort of eating
There's a
room.
chair, there's a table, great. My butt's sitting in the chair, my head is on the table immediately. Just
Is he okay?
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
wasps, bad for him.
this actually happens more than you would believe if I told you.
Little
It's
guys
a thing
will
with
find
wasps.
Not so much.
I think he has an allergy, actually, if I'm being honest.
Oh no, that's terrible. I might have a salve that might help with that. And kind of so now you can turn and you can see Cherubin. She is a very short tiefling woman. She's like 4'5". She's tiny. She has the sort of typical red skin that most of you expect of tieflings, although there's many breeds of tieflings, not that you guys know that. Her horns are kind of like an ox's horns, quite big and large, to make up for her being so small. Her hair is sort of a two-tone of purples. It goes down in curls, down where she's wearing it's sort of a priestess's garb. It's a very clean white sort of thing. Not necessarily what any priestesses you'd know would be seen dead in, but a priestess's garb she's wearing nonetheless, with some heels that make her look a little bit taller. And she sort of trots up to Barut and starts rummaging around a small bag and starts, whether Barut tries to stop or not, starts splashing
I
with
wouldn't
like
be-
a slightly
Yeah.
stinging tea tree ointment.
Yeah.
You know how tea tree is. It's good for it, but it feels bad for it.
Feels like hell. Yeah. I wouldn't stop her, but I would say, what is that precisely?
Well, it is just a simple ointment for, not exactly designed for stings, more designed for small cuts and grazes, and it'll make you feel
Similar
better.
principle.
Yes.
I understand.
Agitation and such problems, usually used to help children who fall over and graze their knees instead of
Yes, not quite for this. I understand. Now, I'm sorry. I'm not usually short. How very rude of me. And I'll sit up straight and like correct myself and kind of be more.
She also like stands up straight
Yeah.
when you do that.
Yeah, and I'll just say, Buruit Benarin, it's very nice to meet you. I apologize that I was unconscious at our first interaction.
Cherubin. I'll also add something I did not describe of her, is she has a pretty large pendant that sits just neatly against her cleavage of a clearly behorned individual just with their arms out like this. Made of metal.
Made of metal. Okay. Metal. Okay.
I believe I'm the one who's hiring you.
Yes.
You are the Grey Fists. It's an honor to meet you. I mean, you don't seem any of the ones that I remember in the stories, but
Is this happening? Tobias is just like piling up kobold bodies in the corner. He's like, yeah, it's in order to meet you as well. Tobias
Oh, sorry.
from Slate Cove. You've already met Baruit, and then I motioned to Virik, and I'm like, and this
And
is...
Virik, you hear the. You want a drink? I'm Virik. He's got the wine.
What? Fine. Fine. Yes.
Find 2 cups.
I suppose it's.
I'm gonna ask you to grab another cup for me, but I'm not having your same liquor.
Oh,
I'm gonna pull out my Mountain Elf cider. I need to be reminded of home right now. And just pour a little in my mug.
It's at this point that it's actually Tobias who's going around who notices there's small holes in the bottom of the walls where the kobolds have crawled their way in. Clearly, like scratched and bitten open.
I'm just
the
gonna
walls
like
on the side
shove
of
the
building.
bodies back in the holes.
Plug them up.
Yeah.
Oh
Plug 'em up.
my god. That's gonna smell real bad. Real
Someone
soon.
else can deal with this.
Luckily,
I've
this
spent-
place seems closed, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I've taken care of like more bodies than I would like in the past few weeks.
Yeah.
So
There's been a lot of burials, a lot of burnings, a lot of just burial rites. So
do you know the proper burial rites for kobolds by any chance, Baruid?
can I make a check for that? It would, I assume, be history, not religion, but
You wouldn't. No one's writing about that. Who cares? They're kobolds.
So just shove them in the walls then?
Yeah, just
I
shove
mean-
them in the walls.
would I be able to make something up? That's a good question.
If you wanted to, I think you'd be able to.
Yeah. I mean,
It's one of those things where Bert is knowledgeable enough to know that, like, no one knows where kobolds come from. No one knows
Yeah.
what kobolds follow. Kobolds they're everywhere.
yeah.
And they're biting through the walls.
Yeah, just put them back where they came from. That's fine. But
Yes, they attacked me out of nowhere. I mean, the poor creatures must have been hungry. I mean, sometimes I leave a little bit of food out for the birds outside when it's colder. Maybe I wasn't feeding birds.
have you been staying here? Is this place closed? I have
Yes.
many questions.
It is closed. The owner of the place sadly passed on, and I am looking after the place for them before I leave. In which case, it'll probably be repurposed in some form.
Did they have a wish as to what it might be when they left this
Make a
plane?
great morgue.
I didn't really know them very well, so I don't know. But I do know it's owned by some of the older families that live in this town, so I'm sure it'll be put to great usage.
That is a lot that my brain is not.
That's okay. I'm very intelligent, people say, so it might take a little bit of time for you to catch up to my speed, but I'm very used to that. Very used to that.
Oh,
People where I'm from, Bastilian, it's a very very important place, and we teach our children from a very young age. And I know that the people around here, and she points just very obviously to Tobias, that the people around here have a much more simpler, down to earth way about them.
And I'm just gonna heal myself a little bit more.
Oh, what was that? What did you do? Your hand glowed.
Furyk is losing. Like, he's just
That's a bit
laughing.
better. That's a bit better. Now my brain's feeling a little bit more myself.
Was that magic? Hey, you do healing magic?
I do. People here call me a cleric. Follow.
Who do you follow?
I mean, I don't know that you would know him. He's an elven god.
I know an elf.
And now you know too. But the elven 3.
Oh, I couldn't
hard to
tell that
tell
he was an
sometimes.
elf because he's wearing
A mask, yes. Yeah.
mask.
You'll have to
That's a very
forgive
quaint
them.
word for it. In
Yes.
my language, it's called a false face.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna, because Infernal, right? For
Infernal,
tieflings?
technically the
Infernal.
language they call when I get around to translating everything, it's a language
Yes.
called Vas.
Vas. Well, in her language, I will then speak that word.
And her eyes light up more than they already do. They kind of glow a little bit. She is a lot more uncanny than Corpse Flower is. Corpse Flower is a little weathered.
Yeah.
She almost seems like she doesn't belong. I mean, she definitely doesn't belong. But she just kind of is like, yes. And Vas is just like, I did not know you spoke our language. That's very brilliant. You clearly are much more keen than I gave you credit for. Honestly, when you came in here and you were attacked by a bunch of bees, I thought that you were a simpleton, like sort of the kind of person who would clean out chimneys or some such. But clearly you are much more keen than that. Maybe you really are a hero like the Great Vista rumored to be.
Well, I myself am much more of the learned type. These two are far more of the hero type. I'm here to make sure that they stay alive as much as they are here to make sure I stay alive. And I say all that in in Vas, yeah. Because I don't want them hearing that quite as much.
She just sort of nods.
Yeah.
In a lot of interest. And at this point, she's sitting at the table, like,
Yeah.
just watching you.
And I will then say, my god is Nerothian the Hunter. God
She
of the
actually, she'll be like, ha! And she'll go into a bag and take out a tiny little notebook.
Oh, and I will totally then pull out my notebook and show her the notes that I have on my god, which is like 18 pages.
And
plus
she will
of material.
write down the spelling in Common and Elvish.
Yeah.
Furyk is going to turn to Tobias. This is going to be a long trip.
But
So here's the giant word for nerd.
it's a multi-purpose word. She sort of was like, but to digress, this is a safe place to stay before we continue traveling. To Bastilian. And I'm not in any particular rush. If you want to enjoy the town for a little bit, I wouldn't mind. I mean, I've seen the maps. You've gone quite the way. You must have been hell on your legs. I mean, I've got short legs. I move quite slowly. But your legs are much longer.
Well, we try to move quickly, but that won't be a problem. I think enjoying the town for at least a couple of days, I think, would be quite nice. And we do need to stop in and see our companion, Eleanor, who is one of the patrons of the orphanage here, I believe. I'm not actually too sure of the details, but she's done a lot
In my
of...
tongue, an orphanage is called a baby hole.
Oh. And Burt's gonna flip that over and write it down and like... Very interesting. So why is that?
Well, because usually they're essentially a pit the young tieflings are put in, and they can sort of find out their own social hierarchy among themselves.
Oh, fascinating.
Of course, they're only used by the poorest of families who cannot afford a nanny.
Right. Note that down. And so, what would a rich family use instead of a and then
nanny.
I'm going to use the baby hole. And so a nanny. What is that?
Well, it is essentially a person you pay to care for your child for you while you're doing more important things.
So we're kind of, in a way, nannying you on your way to Bastilian.
In a way, although I am a fully fledged woman.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't necessarily know ages all that well. I mean, as you know, I'm an elf.
I understand. As far as I
Yes.
could tell, you could be 3 years old as an elf.
I might as well be.
Refill the glass.
Yeah.
Drink again.
I assume this entire conversation is happening in Voss as well.
But pretty much most of it.
Yeah. Which is why I'm comfortable making that joke. Otherwise, I'd be far more insecure. But no, I think great. I will have many questions for you about your culture along the way, if that's all right with you. I'm writing a histories of peoples. I actually don't come from this continent. I come from Zalstella, in the mountains there. And
Mountains. Yes, I've seen those.
yes, I like them a lot. They're where I'm from, so that's. But I'm from across.
When you're up
the-
there, can you touch the sky?
That depends what you mean by
Because
the
they're always
sky.
up against the sky.
Yes, I've noticed that from afar they appear to be, but when you move closely,
Oh, what?
Oh, no.
did he-
When
Oh,
you
no.
move closely, you get
when
banished.
you move closely,
There
you
we go.
to another.
Oh no!
No.
Come back, Brute!
I'm here. Hello.
There you are. Hi.
Yes. Hi. I don't know what happened there because my internet was completely fine, but then Zoom
I think
just
my internet's so bad it's leeching off yours.
it's infecting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, no, I've noticed that when you are there, the sky appears to be just as far away from you as it did, other than the clouds. Sometimes you can touch the clouds. You know those big fluffy things in the
I
sky.
know what a cloud is. I'm very intelligent.
I apologize because I was using the Elvish word there for clouds as well. So
in which case she does not know what a cloud is.
yeah. And then in because I don't know the word in Voss, it's one of those ones that just you wouldn't.
They
I would
actually,
never
yeah,
need.
exactly. It's a bit unnecessary a word.
Yeah, and then the big fluffy things in the sky.
Sheep, no.
No, in the
Clouds.
sky, the clouds. That's yes, and I'm gonna write down that word.
Exactly.
And then say, those, you can touch those when you're on the mountain sometimes. Not always, depends on how high the mountain is, but
I would very much like to touch a cloud one day.
it's a fascinating feeling. It almost feels like water, but lighter.
Virik has an idea, because Virik wants to know if she's okay with Drow. So what Virik's going to do is minor illusion a Drow walking into the bar.
They'd have to be pretty short.
It'd be short.
It'd be a short drought.
Yeah, you do so. She kind of looks up and says, "We're closed. This is an closed establishment. Private
I'm going
party."
to I'm going to very obviously now dispel it, and then go, "Oh, good. Take off the mask."
That was not a real man.
No.
Just checking if you're okay with my people.
Oh, I have to say, I'm not very worldly. Bastilian is quite the isolated little place, so I don't know what your people are, but I can assure you that the Exalted Guide cares for all of his children on this world, and that your path, no matter your skin, is still open.
Well, thank you. Goes back to
No.
drinking.
It's very interesting. I meant to ask, and may I ask, is the pendant you have there of your god?
This is the Exalted Guide.
Lovely.
He
So tell
guides
me-
us through the world. He
That's
guided
interesting.
you here to me, and
It's
will
very-
guide us there.
It's very interesting because my god is one of the hunt, and very specifically, he leads you down the path that you are meant to go. It is very much
That
a
sounds
notion.
very similar.
It does, which is why I'm interested. I'm almost wondering if we are, in a way, worshipping the same god but under different names.
Well, that it would be very unlikely.
I'm not saying it wouldn't be. I'm just saying, wouldn't it be interesting if we were?
It would be interesting.
It would be.
In a
Because
heretical kind of way.
I mean,
You're
Believe me.
suggesting much more heresy than her.
yes. But believe me, I understand. But more what I meant is that my god is one who has guided me down the path to, in my opinion, has led me down the path to discover histories of people and to make sure that those stories are told. And it sounds very similar to what your god does in a sense, in leading you to the path that you are meant to follow.
Yes. Yes.
I think our gods would get along if they are not the same.
I'm
or-
sure they would get along, and if not, at least we can. As you'll put like a hand on your arm guard.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's very warm to the touch.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise
Much
me.
warmer than a human or
Yep.
other races. And with that little sweet little moment, we're gonna take a break. I can't find my mouse.